cover them right now and then move forward. Today I will have a request for all of you that are attending this class. Find a notebook, Figma, Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever you wish, because today we're going through some of the most important topics in terms of how you should build and why you do things like, well, why UIs look like they normally look. There's a reason why there's a lot of elements that seem similar. Okay, so that's why I'm saying you this. I think it will be good. With that, you can start prototyping. Sorry, your future project. That's why if you want to grab Photoshop, Figma, whatever, do it. Or even get that mock flow that I sent in the past, where do not gate. Okay, I was just reading another thing. That prototyping thing that I sent, which is mock flow, it's free. You can just use already done elements to actually start building your own projects. Given this, again, any question about the previous session? Anyone? I get. Uh, that's not about the previous session. So get used to Kishi. It's normally like this. I tried to get the medicines for him and I forgot. Sorry about that. Let's move forward. So guys, session 3, UI patterns, usability heuristic. UI patterns and usability heuristics help designers create consistent, intuitive interfaces by reusing proven solutions and following core usability principles. They improve user experience, reduce errors, and make products easier to learn and use. This is why I was talking about there are similarities between multiple UIs that you can find on either on FiveM or even on any kind of applications. As an example, we have this image from Quasar phone, which actually really resembles an iPhone. Because of that, this happens. Sorry, this happens because Quasar used the same kind of design language that iPhone created their own cell phone. Given this, once you look at it, you know exactly what each button does, what you are looking at. That's the idea behind these UI patterns and usability heuristics. Heuristics we're going about them in a bit because there was a guy that invented them, well, mentioned it the first time some time ago. So moving on. So what are UI patterns? UI patterns, it's basically when there's a problem that other people already or other designers already found in the past, you may use similar solutions. There's a thing that we all say in any class. We can be talking about programming, we can be talking about design, we can be doing even business does this. There's a saying that says, do not reinvent the wheel. If the wheel already exists, use it. You may tweak it a little to your taste. You may tweak it a little to cover what you wish to for it to do, but don't go inventing the wheel, because by inventing you will lose so much time inventing a new wheel that you will not even you may lose your audience attention, and you can also lose the focus of your user in this case. You need to be Elon Musk. What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. But look, even if you say that we do not need to be like Elon Musk, let me tell you something. Elon Musk did not invent anything. He just grabbed all the theories, all the practical tests that was done in the past, but and then he refined it. If you think about it, the rockets, etc., the shape of the engines are exactly the same kind of shape that NASA used it for ages. They are the same. So what he did was he grabbed something that already exists, placed then some new technology that we just figured out how to solve, and injected that new technology into that engine. By doing this, he created something which is not 100% new, but it's something that is probably about 30-40% new. But this 30 or 40% new was good enough to increase the effectivity of it by, well, a long margin. You can increase the effectiveness of it by 300%, 400%, or more. I'm not sure the numbers in the case of Elon Musk, but this is for you just to grab the idea. Okay, so then by checking what others already been through and checking how they have solved the problems in the past, you are basically creating reusable solutions that normal that common users go through. I need to reach this point. How the other designer did it? They did it like this, so we can reuse it for multiple parts of the UIs. Then this kind of patterns also helps designers create consistent, intuitive, and efficient UIs. Like I was saying, Elon Musk got the engine, the rocket engine, and you look at it and you say, yeah, that's an engine. So it's intuitive, okay? And the shape is consistent. So if you go comparing all the different engines that he built, they all look the same. So you will know that all of those are engines. This is the consistency that you will find. And then by tweaking it a little to your taste or to your goals, you can make it efficient. That's why you should use those patterns. Then again, I need to mention this, and I also already covered it, but let's re-mention it again. Patterns are not strict rules; they are the best practices. I don't know. Let me say quickly. Okay, let's, for example, grab a website. Go to any website in the world, any. Well, not any, because there are pretty crappy ones around, but let's talk about well-visited websites like Facebook, Instagram, Quasar Shop, etc. You will, if you want to go back to the home page, you already know that you should click the icon, the logo of the brand. So this is a pattern that is covered all across websites. So this is why patterns are what patterns are and why they are basically used. But let's go a little bit deeper. So why do we use it? We use them for, as a designer, as a developer, we use them for better design processes, consistency and cost across products, easier for users to learn, because if I show you a computer like this image we have right now, even though it's not an actual computer, it looks like one and you will understand it is a computer. This is where you make easier for your users to learn from it. Okay, it also reduces the errors that you can make, but by saying that it reduces the user errors, it's basically this: if there's a new user to your software, to your UI, they will know exactly what you're trying to do. Given this, if you throw it to an expert one, someone that had been around for a lot of times, like the Nyan Cat. Exactly, Donald. Nyan Cat is a good example. If you show something like that, it's not exactly a cat, but everyone reads it as a cat. That's the goal behind it. It's you have like a representation, a visual representation of something, but it this situation that we are mentioning about making it easier to read is it's expandable. It's not about laptops or cats or whatever. It's about a lot of things. We will go through it a little bit further. And then finally, it supports usability and accessibility. This first slide, I always show the ramp for the wheelchair because this is something that is used and reused and rebuilt and reimagined. But they are all ramps. People understood that that guys on someone that is on a wheelchair, unfortunately, or I don't know, I don't believe that anyone can like it, but I never been into one, thank God. I cannot be sure. I'm the kind of person, just for you to understand, that believes there's always 1% of a possibility that you may not consider. Okay, that's why do not be scared by this. So people reinvented already the ramps for these situations, even the stairs that the others uses. It's a way to simplify how to climb. If it was only a wall with something sticking on the wall that you need to climb, it will be way harder. That's why we can apply the usability and the accessibility of it. Okay, so moving on. Any questions so far? First of all, because this topic, it's not very complicated, but it's something that needs to be understood at least. Okay, I think there are no questions. So moving on. So these are, I will go through some of the most common patterns that you will see. Okay. On the top left, we have the navigations menu. Normally, they are on the left side of the screen. All of them have like either just text or text with icons, and have like a way to split them or divide them by sections if you need. And as you can see, we have the bottom left one, which is, I don't know if you know this application. It's Slack. It's like a evolved version of Discord, way evolved version of Discord. And then you have some things. You have from Google Analytics. I think this is from I don't know. I can't remember for sure. Anyway, they all look the same. So there's a pattern that is being used in here. Okay, I have some issues on this. Sorry. I have some issues on the search boxes, but I can show you then. Okay, so moving on to the tabs. As you can see, tabs feel like the folders. Those folders that you see in movies where there are, I don't know, uh, evidence room or patient reports from on the hospital, where they have those little pieces of paper that just have the names in it, like this dark bar, and sometimes an icon. So they all look the same. If you go around through every website has tabs, the feeling it's pretty much this. Then the search boxes. Unfortunately, I can't show you like this, but I've been trying to. Let me try search boxes because it UI. I'll get one really quickly. Oh, website dead. Yeah, I can go to iStock, no problem. So search boxes. This is interesting because we have a lot of them. Search boxes, as you can see, they all look the same. They all have a box. They all have something that says either search or have like a magnifying glass on it. So you can understand that you use this to search for something. So these are one of those patterns that you will see all across websites and everywhere. Um, this is a way to simplify for the user to search for the I don't want to call it scope because I don't want to mix you, but okay, look at it at the contest you are in. if we are seeing something about common patterns, if I had like a search box over here and I wanted to search, for example, for navigation menu, you will understand that we are searching inside the common UI pattern. So the search box is inside its own context, and it helps the user understand and search for what they want. Moving on, breadcrumbs also seen everywhere. It's a type of navigation. If you are on home, you move to cart, you can move to payment, or either confirm or go back. Because imagine that, yeah, you just bought, you're trying to buy something, and it's, yeah, I forgot to buy another item, and I want to add it to my cart. You just go to the breadcrumb, click on cart, and you are going back. That's why these patterns exist for breadcrumbs also. Accordions. I look at accordions very similar way as tabs, but in a vertical. They show like vertical things. So every time you click some of these, the panels under them just expand or contract depending if you need them or not. It's a way for you to show information or hide information that the user does not need at that moment. There was, I think it was. Some kind of a tutorial script or a pause menu, something like that, like a guide for the server, where I felt bad for what they did because their accordion keeps expanding. Every time you click on something, it keeps expanding. So suddenly, as a user, you completely lose the focus. You do not know, you no longer know what you already opened. So it becomes weird. This is something that you need to consider when you start going into the programming or the development of something for either for FiveM or other things. Just to mention this again, I mentioned in the beginning of the course itself, this UI UX thing is not about only FiveM. It's about the world. It's about doing things even outside of this community. You never know when FiveM as a business may end. We never know because nowadays it's in the hands of Rockstar. But with the tools that you are grabbing inside our university, you will be prepared for something even bigger, maybe. Who knows? You will be prepared at least to understand when you reach the market. You will understand, okay, we need to do this because of this, and that. Okay. Again, these are only guidelines, not forged in fire rules. You can bend them, you can do it in your own way, but there's a reason for the existence of this. That's why you have the name common. Again, pagination, the same thing. You have the go to the first button, go to the last button, couple of pages in the middle, and you have move back and move forward. Basic stuff. And if you think if you go look into scripts and that they have paginations or paginations, yeah, I'm trying to spell it correctly, but I'm not sure. You will find them. I'm not saying that they will look exactly like this, but the feeling at least will be something like that. So you have a guide for it. Next, oh, Jesus. Next, models and dialogues. I know I have a representation of those there. Does anyone can anyone explain me a situation that something like that showed for them? Anyone? You just cleared the throat. You didn't want to speak. Okay. Models and dialogues. Models and dialogues are normally used either for an input based on the context that you are in terms of website. For example, and you are tracking, look, MDTs. This is a good example. You're going to add a new, I don't know, a new warrant for a specific person. The best way to do it is have like a plus button on the main UI. Then when you click it, a model pops up and there's a form inside where you can just fill it in and save it, and it will close again. Dialogues are more like questions about you're deleting something, and you can see all of these ideas at least on your phones. You're trying to delete a photo, the phone prompts you if you really want to delete it, for you to give it a confirmation that you wish to do it, or if you're opening up the most common model that you can find, it's that one that you open the application for the first time, and it asks you if you allow the phone to share some of your information to that company. That's one of the most common models nowadays. Then you have the progress bars seen everywhere in the FiveM world. They all look the same. You have a bar that goes through. They have some kind of a label, sometimes a helper text, and it may give you at least a sense of percentage, or it can have the value of percentage in it. Then cards and grids. We talked about this on the previous session, because I mentioned, for example, Tailwind or Bootstrap have this kind of structures already done for you to just go around and build them really fast. They all look the same. A grid is a grid. Okay, basically it's like this. In the name cards, this comes from, I don't know, but the first card collectibles that start showing up, where you had like a sheet of plastic where you place the cards inside of those. So you have the grid, and separated by those margins, or I don't know, cuts, let's call it like that, you have all the cards separated, and it becomes a grid. So that's based on real life. That's based on something that you see every day, or at least you wouldn't understand if you were in. Nowadays, you will not see it too much unless you collect, I don't know, Pokemon, for example. If you collect Pokemon cards, you should have like a folder with the cards like this placed inside those sleeves, so on. Then yeah, I forgot to change this. This is not breadcrumbs. These are tooltips. Let me just change it really fast. This is tooltips. So, tooltips. Um, there was someone recently that mentioned me an MDT that is around. There inside that MDT, there's a map, and on the map you can see all the on-duty officers that are on the server, or as a policeman. And once he placed the mouse in over that dot that is on a map, it shows something like this, saying the name, saying the patent, the patent, and saying something else. I think it's the police code or something like that. These are used for a lot of things. This is only an example for FiveM. The example that we have here is when your user doesn't know exactly what to do. If you place like a small button with a question mark on it, you can place a tooltip on it explaining what that specific field does. These are used all across the world. Let me check one thing really quickly. I'm trying to see if I can see anything. Or let me go here. Oh, Jesus. Okay, let me go back. If I place, see, if I place the mouse on top of that icon, it shows line. That's a tooltip. Again, add comment, change background. These are all tooltips. It's a way to expand what you're telling your user. Any questions so far? I'm going to finish up this part. Okay, guess not. So moving on. No, señor. y vamos a tener nachos. He's going to say to me again, no, señor. Then forms and validation. Since your first day in school, you started having things to fill, tests or exams to make. We don't like them, but it is what it is. And you will always have like a field that you need to fill in, and there are some required fields on those. The difference between a user interface and those paper things is you don't have the teacher slapping your hands because you forgot something that to read right there. You should have like a message or a representation. In this case, it's the red things. It's the a representation saying you should fill this. Normally, on the forms that need there are where the fields are required. Normally, there's a red star next to the label of that form to inform the user that it's a required field. And finally, in ending this common UI patterns, we have the infinite scrolling that basically have three possibilities. First, the pagination that we already covered. They could just go pressing next, 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 next until you find the end. A good example is tap on the right in on Instagram stories, for example. I don't want to go to another application right now. I remember something else, but I don't want to go there. Then you have infinite scrolling. One example is Facebook. And I think, and Instagram also does it. When you're looking at posts, you start scrolling, and every time you scroll, there are more posts showing up for you to read. You can just scroll forever, and you will always find something. This goes a little against some of the, how can I say this? Some of the past rules on accessibility, which says 3 scrolls to reach everywhere. But these accessibility rules or conditions, I don't know, were created for company websites, not for social media or anything like it. So if you look at it as these situations are specifically for media websites like newspapers, blogs, social media itself, and so on. So you either have that automatic loading or you have a button to load more. And you may ask, because it's normal, what's the best in this case, specific case, what's the best for FiveM? Honestly, I rather have an infinite scroll that automatic loads depending how you scroll. But on FiveM, you have a lot of limitations and you have a lot of problems on when you start scrolling, you start increasing the amount of memory that your computer is taking in order to load all of the information that you're scrolling. So either I would make like a delay when you are scrolling, or I would place like a button to load more stuff. It's not the best thing, the button for loading more stuff, but yeah, you need to think on both sides. You need to think the how fast your script will be, and you need to think how usable your script will be. So you need to consider both situations and think about them uh, in a way that you reach a point of compromise. So don't go over one side or the other without thinking a lot on what you're building. And this basically covers the common UI patterns. So, about the common UI patterns, is anyone building something right now that we can actually see some of these working on, or are you still just listening to the class?
So means in terms of it's running or just work in progress stuff?
Yeah, work in progress. Or if you want to, if you don't want to show something that is in progress because of, I don't know, you want to hide it because it's something that you really value, you want to put out, no problem. You can show us something that is already done and it's for sale. Depends on you.
So I do my stuff for my own, not for sale. So uh, phew, uh yeah,
One
reset my
thing.
computer. So I have a few options I can.
One.
So do we want to see the code or just the
No,
Figma
no, no,
or
no, 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 no. It's just a Figma. We're just covering
just
parts
the
of it.
Figma?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry. So then just give me a second, please.
Oh,
sure.
I got one. I got one.
You
So
got
show
one?
us.
Yeah, but it's not like, but it's just a picture, not an actual UI.
Don't worry. But you have the. It's like a sketch of what you want to build, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a
So
sketch.
yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it.
Let me find it. I got too much things. Oh my god, I got too much Figma. Uh,
The first one to find can call names to Kishi. Like names, 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 names.
hmm. I'm waiting for
Kishi,
CFX
Kishi,
so
Kishi,
long.
Champa, Kishi.
I don't want anyone to swear to you, Kishi. That's why I was saying that they can call you names. Just names, nothing else. Just names, 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 names.
Okay.
Kishi,
Yeah.
Champa, Kishi.
Okay. Let me
Okay.
check something
So
else.
anyone can check the crafter
Donald's.
from Donald's. If you're looking, yeah, it looks really nice.
Thank you.
So
So
tell us about a little about we just covered the UI patterns and show us some examples or talk about it about some of
so
the examples if you can.
yeah, so I try to. So that should be the manufacturing time. So in terms of when you choose the weapon that you want to craft, it shows you the time that it needs to build.
Okay.
On the left side, there are the weapons that you can build.
Okay.
Means it's the same picture, but you can change. I will change it later.
Yeah, yeah.
And everything down here means that's what required to build the weapon.
Okay. So
Yeah,
the
and
items that you need to build the weapon.
right. So and here you see what is still
Mm.
missing. If you build more than one, how much time it will add the number of time that you need to build the stuff.
Okay. So starting from what that specific place you are in right now, as you can all see, he has a grid and cards. And by having them fit in that place and having that title out on the top, you understand that that block, it's the crafting elements. You need the following items for production. You're telling your user what all of those are, and because it's inside a specific grid and have those cards, the user can actually understand what they are interacting with. Okay, that's the idea behind the cards and the grid. Then another thing that I'm noticing, and this is something also for you, Donald, and think about it in maybe in a way to maybe adapt it a little. I would get a little bit confusing between the button that says start crafting and the 1x on the items because they look so similar that I would believe that that thing that with 1x would be also a button.
So you mean that I have to add a button inside of here or what?
No, what I'm saying maybe it's do like a border on the button saying start crafting in order to differentiate it a little from the rest, or figure out a different way. Maybe make the text of the start card white, for example, something like that. I'm just throwing things. Okay, I'm not. I
Yeah,
would
it's
need
okay.
to spend some time on it to actually say, yeah, you should go this way or should go that way. I'm just throwing things.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, as the thing that says manufacturing with the time of manufacture, he actually is not reinvented. He reimagined the progress bar.
Right.
As far as I can understand, is those hexagons start lighting up depending how much time it's left for it to craft.
Right.
So you basically, like I was saying, you reimagined the loading bar, the progress bar. This is the why I say that, yeah, you have common UI elements, but you can change them a little. And again, he has that little box, that little card around it, making all of that information consistent and understandable for the user. Any questions? I get no, senor. Okay, go to the top left, Donald. Okay, so one last thing, and this is one of the most interesting things that you should also have. Uh, if Donald removes the word crafter at the top, I'm not sure if people would understand that this UI would be for crafting stuff. Okay, so you do not need exactly to place the naming there, but you need if you remove the naming from there, you need to figure out a way to explain to your user, either with common UI elements or something similar that was already been seen on FiveM, in order for them to understand. If you think, but if we change our mindset into FiveM and I look again, yeah, it's telling me that is something either to buy weapons or to craft them. Still, so by giving the word crafter at the top, it basically solved an issue. This is another example of UI elements that I haven't covered, but it's an important one. Okay, that's great. By the way, Donald, I like your designs. They seem great. I had just have a question for you.
I didn't
Will you?
make it, so to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
you didn't make it.
yeah.
Yeah, because
No.
the image of the weapon, in this case the AK, if you start loading weapons and images and stuff, the problem with this is you will be having a lot of things on your UI,
Yeah.
and by adding images and images and images, you're just making it more heavier. Let's call it like that.
Yeah. Normally, I would. It's looking full, but there can only produce 2 or 3 weapons, so I
Yeah,
don't fit everything inside. So just to
I
keep
can
it
tell you.
minimalistic.
Yeah, I can tell you something interesting. Um, Quasar started looking at the attachments for the weapons with a 3D model,
Mm.
because that way it doesn't need images. It just loads the model from the game and that's it.
Yeah.
That's why it moved that way. It's a good
Okay.
way, a good thing to do, but for beginners, that's very hard to do at the same time. So it's something to keep in mind. You need to accept your limitations. In this, I'm talking to everyone. You need to accept your limitations and live with them. So let's move forward. You can stop sharing so people can come back to my. Oh, okay, sorry. We have Cody. Forgot. Okay, Cody. What do you want to show us? You want to show us the Nintendo Switch? Okay, so you're building a Nintendo Switch for the. You're muted, Cody.
Oh shoot, I keep talking about Nintendo shit. Yeah, basically this is a Nintendo Switch, but I don't really want to make it into script due to the TOS problem. I'll just make
Yeah.
that for fun.
Do you know how you can solve that?
No.
Change one of the sides to the same color of the left side. If you
But this
change
is
the sorry.
but they will still have TOS problem and all that. So
I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, you can if you change some buttons, for example, that plus and
yeah.
minus. If you change the buttons to something different, probably it can go under the
Like
radar. So
yeah.
because
So
there's a lot of things. I don't know if there's a console from Asus that it's it looks pretty much like um a Nintendo Switch, but the colors and the sizes are completely
it's
different.
different.
So yeah.
Maybe I can design one in the future.
So you can just change some things in order to make it fit
Yeah,
for your own thing. They're an idea.
and I'm making like
Okay.
this is the setting page. The user.
o- Okay. You have the navigation bars on the left. Navigation on the left.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, by I don't know if you did that on purpose or you just felt it felt more I don't know. It felt better by creating the navigations like this, one on top of the other. It
Yeah, but
felt
I'm thinking of switching like into for example this. Let me
in
try.
putting it on the top.
Yeah, and then say yeah.
It's still a
This is
navigation because like I
yeah.
was saying, still feels better because it's something that you as a user are you are used to it. That's the concept of the common UI elements. Okay, so you're basically nailing it there. That's
Yeah,
the thing. Okay. Uh, I
that's
will
the
not go
user.
through a lot your UI because I see it's pretty minimalistic still.
Yeah,
So it
simple.
makes no sense going through
Yeah,
everything right now.
and these.
But yeah, it's understandable, and that's the idea of UIs. Okay.
Yeah.
So great. Let's move on to something a little bit more
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know
different.
anything.
Oh, you have the grid again. Okay. If you wish, you can stop sharing, but yeah, you have the grid like I was saying, and the cards again, like we're just doing. So moving into the usability heuristics. I mentioned this at the beginning of the session. So heuristics are basically general rules of thumb for good usability. So when you're building something, you need to kind of find a way to guide your user in a way, either with text, either with positioning of elements, either with color of the elements, etc. So it actually helps evaluate designs and spot problems earlier. I can tell you one example that we changed really quickly. I don't know if if you remember the previous version of housing. There was a menu that if you clicked on it, it opens up, and well, if you clicked on it, no, if you moved, the first version was if you moved your mouse over that menu, the menu will open. You could see all the possibilities and how to position the objects inside the house. And I just came to Quasar and told them, look, do something different, make it clickable so people can click, it opens and it stays open. Why? Because if when you're starting to furnish your house for the first time, you will not remember all the keys, all the shortcuts that you need to actually position elements on the house to do place the furniture. So by clicking on it, you're deciding as a user to open and to keep it open. So while you are moving the elements, you didn't, yeah, I want to rotate this, but I can't remember the key. And you look to your side and you see, okay, the rotation key, it's this one. This way, we make the script way more usable. Okay. This situation, if this kind of situations happens a lot, and probably as customers from other scripts, I believe you will always have these. You will always find something that you say, yeah, if they did this, it would be easier for us to work with. If they do that, it will be easier for us to work with. Why don't they do it? Yeah, sometimes they don't know shit about designing, sorry to say this. Other times they are just too bored to do things and they just want to sell stuff. Fortunately, and I'm not talking about everyone because there's a lot of good developers around. Fortunately, we have a lot of people that actually thinks about this, thinks about how the user will feel while managing and working on their script. So you get great designs, you get great stuff sometimes, not every time, but sometimes. The only example I can give you, and some of their designs look gorgeous, but some of the usability are crap, which is Godam. Godam, for example, has a lot of great designs. They look quite good. They look very neat, but in the end, usability in some of those, not all of them, thank God, but there are some that you feel, yeah, if they change this into that, will be way easier for me to use it. I'm not saying it's garbage because it's not. I'm saying that it could be better if they thought about it. I'm not sure if they just do it for the sales or not. Don't know the guys. So I'm not talking bullshit about them. But yeah, this is a good example. So, facts. I don't know. Jeez, everyone jumping in. Okay, great. So let's go to heuristics. So there are a 10 rule thing of heuristics. The originally they were defined by Jacob Nielsen. And I'm not talking about the guy that murders people on in cinema that goes looking for people. Okay, the name is similar. That's it. In 1994. 1994, it's basically the beginning of internet almost. So this comes from way back in the days. And one thing I want you all to remember, the sentence that I mentioned before, do not reinvent the wheel. There was already a lot of people studying that wheel to make it work, to make it better, and to make it usable. You may want to tweak it a little. You want to change color. You want to change its color. You may even place a tire on the wheel, or may not have a wheel at all. Sorry, a tire at all. But it's still a wheel. Someone has done your work for the work for you. So use it, redo it, or reimagine it in order for you to apply it for your own design. So these 10 rules that we'll be covering in a moment, it's all about this. The rules exist as a guideline, not exactly as fixed rules, something strict. Okay. Design is all about this. It's about creativity of using the real world things reimagined into something new. So moving on. I have the same picture. Interesting. So these are the 10 rules from Nielsen's usability heuristics. So visibility of system status, match between system in the real world. I already mentioned this. User control and freedom at the same time. Consistency and standards. You will see in a bit what all of these mean. Error prevention, recognition rather than recall. This may make you a little bit start thinking on it. We'll go there. So keep it like this right now. Flexibility and efficiency of use. For example, you want to push a button and you want that button to do whatever it says on the button, not a completely different thing. This is what that basically means. Aesthetics and minimalistic design. Minimalistic doesn't mean that you have glows or you don't have glows. It's more about giving the information to your user that he actually needs. So it's a little bit different than keep it simple. But the word it's less is more. So the less information, that if your user just need that specific information, you don't need to go placing everything inside. Okay, for example, the Donald's is building a crafting system. You don't need to place the number of players that are in the server. You don't need to place how many people are from the ambulance or police or whatever, because that's a crafting system. You don't need that kind of information there. That's just noise. Then 9, you need to help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. The most common thing on recovering from errors that you use on any platform, it's Control Z. It's an undo, and then if you do Control Shift Z, you redo it. Okay, this is a way for you to recover from an error that you made. If you consider this while designing stuff, you will have a lot more people that want to use your stuff. And off he ran. Okay, and finally, and for me, this is the most important thing here, because this is the biggest rule that the majority, and I'm also including our store, the majority of the stores all around FiveM, they do mistakes. Help and documentation. I can't remember, and I'm saying this from the heart. I can't remember a script that has a documentation of how it works. It's not about installations, it's not about configuration, it's about how it works. For you, for example, you're building, I don't know, a drug system. Okay, you're building a drug system, and you start selling the system, and people like what they saw on the video. Yeah, but they get cars, they sell drugs to to the NPCs and things like that, for example. That's good, let me buy it. Then you don't know where you need to go to start selling the drugs, not selling drugs, because we don't want to sell drugs in here. You don't know where to go, what items you need to get, what items you will be needing to actually use the script. That's a big problem. I don't know, I have thousands of euros. I have thousands of euros in scripts that I bought. And I can tell you there are some of those scripts that I think, yeah, I would really, really, really like to know how they actually work. I don't want to spend like an hour, 2 or 3, or a week trying to figure out exactly how that script works in terms of usability from the user side, not from the programmer. I don't care about the programmer. Don't get me wrong. The UI, like I mentioned in a different session, the UI, it's the face of your code. Your users will not see your code. Your user will only see whatever they have on the screen. So you need to understand how it works, so they can understand. You are the first line of defense between your players and the script itself. If you are a script builder, be that person in the middle also. Try to do things by your own and try to think out of the box. If I was the user, what will be my difficulty to use this script? how would I figure out how to use the script? And by doing that, build help and documentation correctly. Please. This is something that I see a lot, and I'm very picky on it right now because I honestly believe if you do this, you can have a lot of success. Well, we have Kishi right here, and Kishi can actually say if it helps the business or not. He's the guy from the business, so he can speak if he wishes. Mhm. Even from the sales part, right? Bingo. That's what I was basically looking for with Kishi. Thank you. So, so we need to increase the wage, right? Okay, guys. So let's go move on and let's start getting in the usability heuristics. I'm sorry to I've taken so much time on the help and the documentation because, like, again, for me, it's one of the biggest thing that we are missing on the FiveM world. Okay, there are people inside these classes and even outside the university that say, yeah, they don't know shit about this. Look, I may not have scripts outside, but I built more applications in my life that the majority of some of those guys complaining did. So, um, my experience working on multiple things, I've been doing back offices for huge websites. I build platforms to manage affiliates. I'm still building one right now, and my experience, as far as I see what happens right now on FiveM, says to me, yeah, it can be way better than it is. We have already some good stuff, but it can be even way better. I already seen guys building like a form on their own website for you to just pick things, hit a button, and you can download your config for your script. This is amazing. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's a good idea. Let's see in the future. You're amazing. Thank you. So moving on, let's go to the visibility of system status. So visibility of system status keeps the users informed about what's going on, provides clear feedback within reasonable time. We have some of these examples where you have like a spinning wheel saying that something is loading. Everybody recognizes that spinning wheel like something is loading. Okay. You have just the word saving says that something is happening. Then you have the upload complete, which basically saying to the user, okay, whatever you did, it's done. So in this case, your upload was already done. And finally, again, our progress bars. These progress bars actually show the percentage that you are in. There's another thing that we usually also use on UI. I would love for Ralphie to be listening because he will agree with me. There's a thing called skeletons. Skeletons are basically this UI skeleton. Wait, well, this new place. Yeah, for example, this. A skeleton is this. As you can see, there are like placeholders for the elements, and they are just dimming down opacity and showing a little bit more. So on this animation shows your user is something that is a reimagination of the loading system. Okay, so by having this like that, the user is understanding that something is loading, something is happening. Okay, it's another way to do it. So moving on, Okay, Donald's is typing. Let's wait. Donald's, if you want to speak, if rather than okay, looks like Facebook app. Honestly, and I need to be truthful, because I didn't want to use copyrighted stuff. I just got these from AI and done. At least the images. It represents what we want to show. It's good. I would like to. So moving on. So again, now match between system and the real world. Use familiar languages and concepts. Follow real world conventions, etc. So examples: shopping cart. Let's imagine that you have a store. You should have the words shopping cart, not purchase container. It's in reality, it is a purchase container, but people won't understand. For Facebook, I don't. For Skype, I do. Well, for the old Skype. Now it works for Teams. um, so you should use the word shopping cart, because when you go to the grocery store, you use a shopping cart to collect groceries or to collect items. This is something that you have on the real world. It's a way for you to actually make the bridge between digital world and the real world. Another, I have some examples here, like the magnifying glass. What do you use it for? Use the magnifying glass to search for things that are so small that you cannot see. So you get the magnifying glass to find them. So you use the magnifying glass on the digital world to find things. This also applies for the letters and the trash bin. You use it quite often. I don't know what to find. I don't want to know what you want to find. Sorry, don't get me wrong. So understood? Is that a question? Does anyone wants to give an example different from these four? Because I know one, at least one. Anyone wants to give me a different example of something that should match the real world and it's used nowadays? Come on, all of you have them. All of you. There's a specific icon that every one of you already seen it, and it's based on the real world. Anyone? Okay, shopping cart is there. I want a different one. Yeah, internet icon. Recycle it. Yeah, that's another example. Phone. I was mentioning the phone. The phone, it's the most used one everywhere nowadays. See, so you already have the icons. That's why there's a lot of people they use icon libraries for this. I can show you the one that I normally use, which is Lucid, and you can go here, and you have all of these. Stop alarm clocks, checks, alarm clock off. You have a lot of things: beds, beans, batteries. Yeah, thank you. Camera icon is the same, exactly. You don't have KU icon? Yeah. Let me just play something here too. And a smile. So there's a lot of icons that you can use and think about them as a way to show your user what's happening. Okay, for example, the rains, the rain with the wind, with snows, etc. You have a lot of stuff that you can actually use. So let's remove it again. So these are actually ideas that can be used. Come on, no, it's not a Chinese website. I think so. Let me confirm. You just you're just basically moving my attention to different stuff. Let me check. I don't know. DigitalOcean. I believe not. Software engineer at Lego. So no, I think not. It looks Chinese to you. Normal. Call the investigator. Okay, let's move to topic 3 of the heuristics: user control and freedom. I was mentioning this a little while ago. Allow undo and redo buttons. Let users easily escape from unwanted actions. If they want to erase a picture, ask them if they really want to erase. Sometimes people think, yeah, those boxes are boring. Okay, but there's a reason for them. The first time you use it, and yeah, I feel these are boring. Yeah, I know they feel they are boring, but if by mistake you delete something that you didn't want to be delete, you're dead. You will blame your life for what you did. One example is every time you just select something on Windows and hit delete, the delete button, that's why the trash bin exists. That's why the recycler exists. For you to undo what you did. Unless you are that kind of guy that wants to go shift delete and it goes away forever. There's a lot of people making a lot of money. There are people making a lot of money on recovering files because of that. Yeah. They say you should not regret decisions in life. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. But on our side, we just want to confirm that you really want to do it. See it from the other side. We just want to confirm that you want to do it. That's what she said. Okay, so like I was saying, confirmation dialogues, for example, the situation of deleting stuff, cancel buttons. That's why this card changes. You will need like a cancel button to cancel the change if you wish, and a confirm button. You should have them both. So if the user, yeah, I don't want to do this, cancel. Okay, this is the user control and freedom. Let's go into point 4. Consistency and standards. Follow platform conventions. Use consistent terminology, layouts, and behavior. Consistency is the key. True. Avoid surprising the user. Let's imagine this. You are going through an application and all the buttons on that application are blue. And suddenly you have a confirmation button, still the same kind of button, and it is, I don't know, purple. The user will look, why is this button purple? This is the first question that they will ask. They will pay attention because it's different. Given this, if don't be, I don't like purple, it needs to be red like our okay. I was going to be to red also. So unless you want to bring the attention to that specific button or that specific element, you should skip the consistency between all the elements that you have. For example, desktop icons, the icon to open up the menu, the icon from the magnifying glass, or even the user, as you can see, they all have the same color in the same sizes because they are all fit inside the same element first, because there's a small box. So all the items have the same sizes and the same color, so there's consistency there. Buttons. The button that should be to confirm something that is in blue If you want to add something, it's a plus button over here that is also blue. Okay, but as you can see, and it's a different thing, the home button does a completely different thing from the button at the top, but the way it's designed, the button itself has the same curvatures on the sides, so it kind of looks the same, but the colors are different. Let's wait. Someone is calling. The button menu over. It changed. Yeah, but it's a way. Yeah, that's a miracle. Actually, that's a way to show your user what he is doing. We just mentioned that. If you think about it, we just mentioned that user control, or well, sorry, familiar language and concepts, provide clear feedback within reasonable time. If you place the mouse on top of a button and the button changes colors, you're showing your user at the same time that they have the mouse over that button. So if they click it, they will click on that button. So it's inside these rules. Well, these guidelines. Let's call it like that. It's better. So these are basically the consistency and the standards that you need to follow. So if you, and a good example was Donald's UI, because as you've seen, the colors between them are pretty much the similar. The sizes of the boxes are pretty similar also. You could do something like, if you click it on one of the boxes on the left, it changes a little bit of color, at least, to say that's the active craft that you selected. Okay, for example, so you're giving feedback to your user. That's why all of these situations are important. But it has some consistency on the design. Yeah, I was mentioning that. What I was saying, Donald's, on your left, and I think you will be clicking on one of those items on your left to actually select which weapon you want to craft. I would do something for the card itself, like change it a little bit in color or something like that, in order to make it pop and show your user that he selected that specific weapon. So that way you will understand what he had selected in the past. So show him feedback. Got it? Questions? That's what Donald is writing. I'm not mentioning over. For example, if you do something like a border outside of the weapon that it was selected, I'm not saying the over button. I'm talking about just you click on it for the first time and you have like a specific. Well, can you send me just the image really quickly, because I can explain it here. It's better.
Sure, just give me a second, please.
Sure, I would.
Uh,
Yeah, kind of that. Yeah, bring it more to life. That's it. But I want to show it. I think it's better.
Figma is slow today, sorry.
Don't worry.
Um,
I remember the first. Come on.
so
Yeah, still, at least we're still having fun. Let me paint this in black because people are getting like vampires. Ugh, too light, too much light.
you should receive it. Send it to you.
Yeah. True. Let me accept it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm not editing it. Well, I can. what I'm doing. I can so zoom to fit. No, not good. What's okay? For example, I know that you actually are selecting this box. So if you do, come on, bastard. I know I have something. I think I have Figma already, but yeah, I think I even have it installed. Come on, be quicker. Allow cookies. We have cookies on the uni, so next launch, close, and why the sorry, I want to open this one. Great, finally. So what I was mentioning is you have all this box, and I can't edit it. Yeah, let me do something really quickly. Wait, Jesus. I think it's better. Can I export it? Or export? Yeah. This? No, it doesn't allow me to export. Anyway, so let me just print it out really quickly. It's faster. And done. Here. So what I was basically saying is I know. Jesus, I fucking hate paint, but it is what it is. I know that you have selected this part, so you have two ways to do it. Either have like a border on it, like this. This is not good because it's not consistent with all the design that you have right now.
Yeah, but for showcase should be okay.
Yeah,
Just for
it's just
understanding.
exactly. That's this. I just want to explain you this. So this way, if you look at it like this, like it is right now, you would understand that you have this item selected. So you can either have it like this, or you can change the background of the card, or you can give it some kind of a glow, or you can make it like a shadow, like so you can see. It seems that the box just is popping out the screen. You can do a lot of things, but you should do some feedback to your user. In that way, you will understand what he actually selected. That's the idea. In the case that you currently have, they will need to be looking for this collect gun. I guess I'm not sure exactly what that's the thing that I'm saying. So I believe that this is the weapon, and you have the button saying collect gun, but I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure if you are still crafting the weapon or this is a collect. See what I'm getting? I'm making the questions that if I was the user, the I'm not calling, I don't like to call it problems, but the difficulties that I would find understanding what you're sending me, what you're showing me as a user. But yeah,
So
that
okay,
yeah.
let me just to let me explain. On the left side, you have the weapons. On the whole box, you can click to get an image show for the weapon that you want to produce. And the collect item means if you see there's a queue, it's 2 out of 10 that's producing right now.
Yeah.
So you can even add some more. That's why there's a progress bar behind underneath the picture. So the collect item is a separate button, but in the same box, so that you
But
can collect what's done.
so my question is, what's this in the middle?
Showcase.
Okay, but what
Preview, like a preview weapon that you want to
I
produce.
understood that. I understood that. So, but from these four that we have on the left side, what is this weapon in the middle referring to? Which one of the four?
Like the first, like it's just
What?
preview.
How can you see it? You know what? I'm just look. I'm not complaining or even
No, no,
close
no.
about.
Just okay. It's okay. I do understand what you trying to tell me? Yeah, it's like it's like a little bit flexing, just to keep it full. Just it's not too compromised, too small. That's why we choose
Yeah,
to put a weapon inside of it.
yeah, but it looks good. Look, that you can even do something like this. Looks like crap. Let me just really quickly find a better way to do it. I don't want this. Just Jesus. I'm trying to collect a similar color for you. Come on. Look, I can't make the filling. Oh, finally. So imagine that you do something like this, and yeah, I can't rotate it. Shit. Yeah, but imagine for example like an arrow on this
Yeah,
side, just a small arrow on this side pointing in.
yeah,
I believe that the user would understand way faster what you're trying to show them. You find a way to
100%.
yeah, find a way just for your user understanding for the user to understand what they are actually looking at. That's it. For me, the design itself, the consistency between all the elements are good. For example, you have a right thing done right here. You have all the Kevlar items. The opacity is down, but if you have the item, it lights up. But the
Yeah,
amount of light that you have here, and I noticed that this has a little bit more light also. The amount of light that you have here, it's way better than this one. So that's another way that you can do it. Just give a lot more light to the weapon itself. If you
mm,
give a lot more light, it will pop out, and you're saying to the user, this is the one that you have selected.
yeah, okay.
Great. So for everyone else, because I think I covered your questions, Donald. Is there a question about this? What do I think about this website? Let's go. To orange sheet. Let's close it. Joking. Um, this is a hard one. Uh, there's one thing that I don't like, honestly, but it's about there's a difference between convex and contrasty colors. No, calm. Wait. There are things that I don't like that much. Okay, dumb the thing down. Let's take the dark corner. I agree with that. Remember that time that you were always you were having a conversation about me, and then I said, if you're talking bad about me, invite me in. I know things about me that you won't even imagine. So take me to the dark corner. You'll understand what I'm getting. No, but there's one thing. But this happens to me probably because of of my screen. Okay, the the white text, it dies a little on this orange. I would make it a little bit darker, maybe the orange, for example. Not too much, just a little. I like this. I really like this. Oh, you placed all the videos here. Opinion rejected. I- uh, out of fairness, then that's just it. Out of fairness, make it also orange on the what's it these called, on the thumbnails. No, I like it, but uh, out of fairness, because this session is from Alfie, and when the user is scrolling down, they will look right directly to my recap because it's orange.
Oh
That's
yeah,
why I'm
yeah,
saying. That's why I was saying,
definitely.
out of fairness, I don't need to be the center of attention.
Maybe if yeah. Oh, if we get enough traffic, like it's actually used as intended, then yeah, maybe we even make custom thumbnails that match. You know,
yeah.
or series and stuff.
But you got yes, yeah. Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it says featured content. It says featured content, so great. But in this part, in this part, let me see if I can. I would go something more like maybe this. So the
Looks
text
good, yeah.
does not die that much.
Yeah, it does.
It's
Maybe
just a
some
thing.
gradient.
Yeah, it's just a little thingy. It's it's the stupid thing, but it's a little thingy that sometimes increases readability. Even if
Yeah.
it's still too dark, but maybe it's something around here because you have it right there. See the difference?
Yeah.
It's tiny, but it's enough. It's enough to increase readability.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
The difference between colors. I know you're colorblind, but yeah, Kishi only sees grays.
Damn. Like gray and some shades of black.
And yeah, don't say that. Like my cat only sees gray. Yeah, but it looks nice. It really looks nice. The word, but I understand it's still under development. Look,
Yeah, yeah. Sort
here's
of tiny details.
one detail that is important for this class, and I think Miracle was talking about it. The over, you are moving the mouse over it, and the element kind of moves. So you're giving the feedback to your user saying, yeah, you are over this item. So if you
yeah.
want to see it, and when you go to the button also moves. So it's a way to give feedback to your user. You should apply these kind of rules to anything that you do. Anything. Okay. If you're building a farming system, for example, everybody knows that you should use supposedly uh, a tractor, a farming machine. So they expect for your machine to do something. Yeah, I only see 190. Oh, what? What the fuck? Oh, okay. Yeah, but honestly, it kind of it looks good.
Oh yeah.
Alfie, look, this apply button works better because the background is darker.
Yes, correct. Yeah, some buttons still have like the watch now. Need to update the colors and stuff.
Yeah, but this is what I meant on the on a home button, on the home page. Yeah, it's so light that the text dies. But when you don't
And I
have a
think
lot
that
of color around, all good.
the contrast, as you said, like when you're looking above, it's dark, and then you suddenly go down and it's extremely bright orange. So
Yeah,
that's something.
it's tweakable. No, don't worry.
Yeah.
So let's go back to our class. Wait. I can answer you a question. I will not take you. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. You want me to do? Oh, neat. I feel bad about it because I'm a student. Joking. I'm always learning. I'm always learning.
No, please don't.
Nah, come on. Look,
Not
you
on
can
not on the profile. Not on the profile.
look. You can actually you see that it's under development.
Yes. The rest is good, but profile is
yeah, because look, I can't believe it's impossible for me to believe it. I know Alfie, so can't believe that you would keep the
no,
text
no, no.
like this. So so
Never. Go check book session offers FAQ. Yeah, those are finished.
I like them.
Yeah, try to book a session.
Uh,
That was
That's-
a lot of UI.
that's a lot of movement for it. And on this case, I would move the complete box. I would only move these ones.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Even these don't need movement. Look, you're very used to FiveM interfaces.
Actually, it's the other way around.
so why so many animations and?
It's just that I replicate the containers. So
Oh,
it's like, yeah, this is a component I made, so I just use it and modify it depending on where.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have like a card element, and you keep going, right?
Yeah, I have a library for the uni.
Put red on the base, bastard. Oh Jesus. So choose date. You just click. I don't know. Maybe cruise. I'm voting maybe. So yeah, I really like it. The only thing that I've mentioned is the thing with animation for the box. I think it's too much.
Yeah, for the big boxes.
Yeah, but it feels good.
The wrapper.
It feels good.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Where is the rap song for the website now? Nice. I think they will find it. They will figure out a way to make it. Okay,
I agree.
let's try to move on, or we won't finish the class. Because normally we should be finishing it by now, but yeah, we just drifted away a little. Yeah, right, Kishi? Kishi the Drifter? No habla inglés. So,
No entiendo.
no entiendo. No te entiendo.
Sí.
So, moving on. Let's go to the fifth rule or guideline from the the word sometimes escapes me. Heuristics. Jesus. So, error prevention, it's basically designing to avoid errors before they happen. Example, you have a lot of spaces that your user needs to fill before they press the button to go next or to submit the form. One of the ways for you to do it, and I'm saying it right here, it's disabling the button until your user actually fills all the valid and making sure that all the fields are valid and with content inside. Then one thing that you will see a lot of times, it's this: people is writing an email. CFX is back. Was it dead? Okay. So Cloudflare outage. Yeah, I think it's happening a lot lately on a lot of different systems. Anyway, moving on. What? Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, but Kishi, I will not read that right now.
Okay.
Damn.
We're going. It's too much. It's too much right now. But let me try to read it like a diagonal thing. It's okay, gonna fix a word. No, it's not. It seems like you may feel like it's one, but it's not. It's
The last column.
Dribble color on canvas. Oh, these are the lyrics for the session. Okay. Guardian of the Professor Red, Guardian of the Human Experience, your lecture hall in Quasar University glows with grace. Jesus, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. Miracle, I can't read that. Sorry, mate. So I'm trying to finish up the session, please. So let's go. We are at the middle of the guidelines. We're at the middle of the guidelines, and once they end, it's basically end of session. So I just want to cover them all, and then we can discuss a little bit about other stuff or stuff from the session. So error prevention. One example that I mentioned also was these dialogues. When you are deleting an item, if you want to confirm that you want to delete it or you want to cancel, you are avoiding that by mistake, as an error, your user can actually delete an item that they don't want to delete. Got it? We will see it in a bit. Let's move on. And for the sixth one, Jesus, I can't read that, really. I can't read that.
Remember, I'm Chinese,
Yeah,
so I can read that.
I know you can. I know you can. So, recognition rather than recall. Minimize memory load. Show options rather than forcing users to remember. Examples are autocomplete suggestions or drop-down menus. Um, I've been implementing some things like these on the scripts that I'm building. One of the scripts, it's basically an invoice system, and on the invoice system, the user can actually look for specific items that they are selling, so they need to search for it. But it's like a Dropbox. It's like something like this, like an autocomplete system. In order for the further they write, the less items show. It's a way. I don't need to force them to remember what's inside. I just need for him to recall of some letters or some things that are actually happening on the script. Okay, it's the same thing for the drop downs. If you have, for example, is going to start a project, you have like a button saying project, and when you click on it, you say new project, edit project, or copy project or duplicate project, for example. When you have all of these drop down options or drop down menus, it helps the user in kind of understanding what's the goal of that input. We all you can't be. I think that if I've had you on a real classroom, it would be a mess. Next, flexibility and efficiency of use. Support both beginners and experts. I mentioned this at the beginning. So the system must have enough understandability for your user to actually collect the information they need and manage the information they need. So, as an example, on the right side, you have mail with an icon of an envelope. If it's an expert using this kind of systems, they see the envelope and they say, yeah, that's the email or the mail. But if it's a beginner, they will read the word, not the icon. So it's a way for you to give it to the player. Another thing is allow shortcuts in personalization. I'm a little bit dodgy on the personalization. Depends how far you can go. because you can actually break the UI if you allow too much personalization. And unfortunately, on FiveM, they break the UI, but they say it's your fault because you did it like that. So you need to think about it. Yeah, Alfie, sure.
So, thank you. I wanna just, since you said that, I wanna give everybody the example to not be like Apple, which is there's a fundamental rule called there can never be UI over UX. So recently, what they did with the liquid glass is exactly that. They prioritize how it looks good over the user experience. So, which is something that should not be done.
Hmm. Actually, that goes against the ideas of Steve Jobs.
Yes.
He always said prioritize the user experience instead of the looks. But if you can combine it, that's great.
Yeah. Indeed.
So provide them also with keyboard shortcuts or saved filters. This is something that happens a lot on dark modes and light modes. If a user selects the dark mode for the first time, please allow them to keep them. If they selected the dark mode they did selected the dark mode for a reason because they want it to look like that. It's better for them. So you need to do it that way. You need to give your user the decision and keep the decision that he made. Got it? So let's go to the eighth: aesthetics and minimalistic design. I also covered this back, but it's important to go back again. So only show relevant information. Avoid clutter. Use yeah, it's not user. Let me just change this. It's use white space effectively. White space, it's the space between letters, and between titles and other stuff. If I clutter everything, all of the items, it's the proximity between them. It's so close that your UI starts becoming unreadable. So use the white space effectively. That's why. And again, only show relevant information. Like I said, if you're building a crafting system, do not place the number of policemen that are there or even their names there. It makes no sense. Okay? Because you do not need that kind of information. You need to know a specific amount of information for what you're showing, and that's it. There are some crafting systems around that you select the weapon, click on to craft it, and everything goes away. Only the item that is being crafted and the progression bar stays, because you're removing the information that the user does not need. This is applicable to anything, and it makes the user life way more easier. So crazy. So finally, 9, help user recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. Clear error messages, offer solutions, and avoid technical jargon. If does everybody knows what jargon means? Okay. Technical jargons are like, if I come to you and say on the error something like, there's a problem on the recursive function that directs to the algorithm somewhere. As a user, you will not understand shit what I'm saying. So you need to give it. Yeah, it's all jargon. True. Miracle, that's 100% correct. So you need to make the language general, so anyone can understand, anyone can read, and anyone can explain to someone else, maybe the developer, what they are doing. I can give a really quick example that Alfie covered on one of his classes. There's a system using pcall and xpcall where you can input inside what it will be the response to the user. If you do it on your scripts, I'm just talking about the backend. And if you put that on your script and say exactly what the error is, you write the error that can come from there. It's a way for the developer to pinpoint the place where it's giving an error, and give you a better explanation how to solve it, or if it's needed for them to pick up and solve the error by themselves, because it can be a bug. Okay, so think about this when you're building your things. So you want to give out, for example, they want a specific amount of items to craft, but they do not input a single thing on the quantity box. You can just show an error saying you do not filled up, you did not filled the quantity um, box, for example. You need to fill the quantity or something like this. Simplify the the text. Simplify it as far as you can, and if you want, show it to your friends. If I showed you this error, would you understand what it means? This is important for you to also cover. And finalizing, we also I spoke too much about this. Help in the documentation. Okay. There are some scripts around that have like a guide inside the UI. It's a good way to do it also for the users inside the game that can actually understand what they need to do to actually work with the script. But again, Alfie, you were not here when I mentioned this. Please, please do documentations not only on the installations, but also how the scripts actually work, how people can interact to make this to work with the script. The example that I gave was something like there's a drug system, and where do I need to go to start a mission, for example? Do I need to go
Hello.
somewhere? Do I need
I'm sorry.
hello? Do I need
No, it's
to no, don't worry. Do I need to go somewhere? Do I need to have a specific item? I need something. As a user, I need to actually understand what I need to do to work with that specific script. I don't let your users guess what they need to do. There are situations, if you're building, for example, a treasure hunt system, you need to find a way at least to let them know there's a treasure hunt on the server for them to actually interact with your script. The other way around, there's a big possibility that no one will actually use your script because it's a treasure hunt and no one knows what it is. Okay. So, and wrapping up the session, where should you apply these heuristics in the real design? So you need to use heuristics during basically the full length of designing, while wireframing, while prototyping, while doing usability testing. Okay, you need to use them everywhere when you're building things, because by doing this, once you start building, and you figure out something like, yeah, this is bad, this is not good, this is bad, you need to change this, I need to change that, maybe this is good, but if I tweak it this way, it will be better or it will feel better. So you need to keep it going. And if you actually combine it with user feedback, your results will be huge and will be better than anything else that is around. And let me tell you, there's a lot of garbage around. There's a lot of people just copying stuff and doing things with it. So, and if you follow at least these guidelines, like I said, these are only guidelines that are not rigid rules. Okay, move on, use them, and work them to make your design as good as it can be, as usable like as it can be, and you will increase the amount of sales that you have. Starting a business is never easy, but if you follow on the design part, if you follow these guidelines, I can assure you that at least we are increasing you are increasing the probability of purchase. Okay, these guidelines, it's not only, it's for all kinds of designs: product design, website design, application design, clothes design, etc. These can be applied anywhere. Just to wrap it up and close the session, I mentioned to a friend of mine that actually owns esports team. He was trying to build some merchandise for the team. No, I don't own Face. He was trying to build merchandise for the team, and I told him the following: you don't have like a big team right now. So when you start building your own merchandise, build clothes that people would use on the street, not because it's from a team, but because it looks good. And his sales just blew because of this. He sells a lot. The team is still a little team, but the amount of money that he makes nowadays only for the close part, it's enough to sustain the team. Okay. So in summary, in closing everything out, UI patterns. So we covered UI patterns, solved frequent design problems, usability heuristics to improve the user experience. We also mentioned that both are essential for every designer, and always design for the real user, not for yourselves. Okay. And just a quote of mine: design is about respecting the differences between each other. So I can see things in a different way from you, but you need to consider my different way of looking at things. And by doing that, you're respecting your user, you're making your user more friendly towards your system. Okay. So see you soon on next class. This is it. Any questions? Anything that you
Thank you.
need to answer? Thank you.
Yeah, could you repeat the entire class? I want to see it again.
I agree.
Bastard.
Hi, Red.
Yeah,
Do you remember me?
I remember you. I remember you. I don't know from where, but I do remember you.
Check your private message.
You sent me something today.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, oh, Jesus.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, mate?
I'm very nice. I'm here. Kishi
Jesus.
says there is a teacher here, like read. I say read. I will be here. Nostalgia a lot.
Great, great, guys. I just want to we'll go back to that conversation. If you can, please leave reviews on the shop. It's important. Well, on the shop, on the review channel. It's important for us. We're going. I believe that we are going to place some of those reviews onto the website also. And again, any question about this topic, let us know. We are here to actually answer all your questions. Okay. And Champa, you changed your nickname.
Don't say my name.
Why?
No, no. I'm a ghost now.
How have you been, mate? Because you just
Yeah, like the Phoenix. You know the Phoenix?
yeah. Yeah, there's a nod of gratitude to the Crimson Soul. Jesus,
Bro,
let me go
second
back.
second paragraph is good. Not merely red, but very, verily so, as if the sun had kissed the head to the toe. Crazy, bro.
In the digital halls where code is king, a legend walks with quiet zing. Professor Red with mind so vast, a beacon where the shadows passed. Yeah.
Those
Put
are
that in
good, bro.
reviews.
Put that on reviews. Yeah, true. And I think you should start collecting them, and maybe I don't know, sell a book.
Or bad timing, you mean? If you feel bad, just read it.
No, I like the I'm kind of I'm a kind of I'm a creative person, so I don't like those straightforward messages in when I'm building something, and I kind of like the poems and things like that because it makes my mind think on different ways to build other things. Not well, we can talk even about the UIs or something like that. When I'm building something, I'm always thinking how the other person would feel by going through all of this. And so the poems are basically something like that. How someone will feel when they read a poem. It's about I mean, it's about identification. It's about do you identify with that thing that you're looking at or you're reading? It's hard. It's art, and I do like art. So at Quasar U, where stars align, you blinds with scripts and sacred line. And FiveM realms, he weaves it. Yeah, thank God. You are dangerous. Yeah, yeah. See,
Exactly.
exactly. That's it. That's exactly what I mentioned. True. You're. I
Green, is
think
that
you're
you
like.
singing?
Oh, look, I just remembered something interesting. This is for all the students, and this is something that I read the other day. It's kind of a joke, but it's a business joke. There are two guys that went to the safari to make a hunt. One guy was wearing boots. The other guy was wearing sneakers, and or yeah, sneakers, tennis, whatever. And then the guy with the boots looked at the other guy and said, "Yeah, so you brought sneakers because you think you can outrun a lion?" And the answer is just, I don't need to outrun a lion. I just need to outrun you."
You
The more
specifically.
the moral of this story is use what all of us professors are giving you to you students, so you can outrun the ones that are not willing to have the tools to go forward, because they will fail. They where they fail, you can succeed. That's the
Alright, so
difference.
everyone, basically the Lion King movie.
I want to kiss you, Red. I can or not?
You're getting pretty dangerous like Kishi.
Where's all this lore coming from? All these poems.
I think I believe from ChatGPT.
No, they type it themselves.
Okay, let's believe that.
I can see by this one. No one
Not enough
uses that.
arguments.
What?
Cap, you use ChatGPT too.
What's good, guys?
What up?
What up?
Uh,